On Friday, I told you where Bitcoin was going to go. It went there, and now it bounced. Let me show you what my trade's doing. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching this video. My name is Da Vinci Jeremy. I'm in the pipe 5x5, staying alive here in Dubai. Man, you know what? I'm happy about this trade, but now I'm not too sure what this trade's going to do. I'm going to be talking about that in today's episode. Also, we're going to go over a little bit of news, but I'm going to jump into the trade right away in today's episode. So let's do that right now. So as you can see, I told you guys that, Bitcoin was going to come down here, probably on the red line. I should have just went for the red line, but wanted to give it a little bit of space, and then boom, it just hit and off we went. We're on the race. We're off to the races. Now, doesn't look like, for me, if we, let's bring up the RSI and stuff like that, that this is, this low, it doesn't look like this is the actual low. This looks like, just okay. We could go even lower now. So effectively, I have to put my stops to break even here, or, maybe consider taking profits because, hey, you know what? Bitcoin's not looking so good. It's not looking good at all. If we were to, let's do some Fibonacci levels. Let's see if there's any kind of levels that we can actually come back to say, okay, well, maybe we have a chance. Yeah, the 90K is the 38.2, right? But I think if we're going to go there, we're probably going to have to come back, retest the lows, and then check out the 38.2. I don't know if I want to hold this trade. So I'm going to recommend that anybody watching this, that they should walk away, maybe add back the trade, right? A little bit lower because of, because I don't think this down movement, right, was not a divergence. I would like to see it come back down, create a lower price, and then have a divergence before we can say, okay, yeah, let's take this all the way to the 90K level. So let's just wait for that and that confirmation, and then we can basically take it there. So anyways, let me just zoom in so that you guys who are watching on the phone can see this. Whoops, a little bit too big. Hang on, sorry about that. So yeah, we got in at the $86,698 level, and our take profits is all the way up at 323. So I would like to bring that a little bit down, just below the 38.2. So let's just say, yeah, let's do the 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. I'm going to probably just exit the trade though, and then just recreate it, basically like this. Boom. Almost to where my my last stop loss was, and so we can see that we have a new opening trade at 85,100. So I'm gonna take that chance to see if we can get there and walk out of this trade and see what happens. Okay, so that's the trade for Bitcoin. Before I continue, I got this CyberRock X1. What's it called? Hardware wallet. I'm gonna be checking it out. If you guys are interested in me checking out this hardware wallet, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll do a video on it. Okay? I just want to know how you guys feel about it, and maybe I'll give it away. But you know what? You really shouldn't give away something that's like this that I open, because it's not that kind of thing. But maybe I can get the manufacturer to send you guys one, right? So yeah, let me know if you're interested in that. Okay. Now let's move over to Ethereum. Oof, look at that. Ethereum was holding the line. This was a parking garage line, heavy support level that it just failed. And now we're trying to break it. And its support is now resistance, and it's just like, can't break that. Can't break that. So that's it. I was expecting $3,500 level. I swear to God, I thought for sure we'd get up there, but you know what? That's just the way it is. That's the way the ball bounces. we just couldn't hold, right, several levels, key levels here. So it is what it is. Looking for the next trade. I don't see one here on Ethereum. I think Ethereum has broken and it's failed. So the odds are that we're going to roll over again and retest the lows. So, and that's probably about the $2,700 level, approximately. Maybe 27.21 area is where we might see another bounce before it takes off again. Okay, looking at Solana, just wipe out. Wipe out. Yes, and yeah, we broke a key resistance level, support level that, I don't know. This has got to recover fast, or else the next support level, the next time if there's any kind of pump, the best case scenario is at $133, because we're right now at $122. And yeah, we could end up not holding this line and going all the way down. If we break below the 116, that's it. It's like yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, it's over. 116. It's lights out, man. Lights out. There's a very slim chance that we're gonna get back up. Okay, hopefully that doesn't happen for Solana. All right, guys. Before I go on to the news for today, as you can see, silver is just pumping like crazy. It just pumped above that. Remember, I was telling you guys about parking garages. See how the market came to the 101 level, and these have been drawn out one after the other. Like, if you want to see how I did this, right? It was from a long time ago. I drew them out like this with this line. All the same, without even actually with price action. I drew this out from a long time ago without price action actually getting up there. So how did I do that? How did I create support and resistance levels? Well, because market likes to trade within a specific zone. So effectively, if you draw out that zone, it will become support and resistance levels. Once you find that zone, and I found that zone here on silver, and that's where we're at. We are trading in the zone right now. The last level that we've held is the 107.37 for silver. Right now, silver is at 109.68, and we are going to be climbing all the way to 113.43, probably tested before we actually break down again. This is crazy, honestly. If we go to daily, this is these candles. You see there's a little bit of a gap here that got filled, but it wasn't a completely, it's not completely filled gap, but it's good enough, right? Because if you zoom in, it's not quite filled. But there's only like a little bit of a microscopic room there in between the 103, $23 mark, is a little bit of a gap, but you know what? It's not like you can fly a plane through that. So there's a couple of cents there. Oh, wow. So, but this has gone absolutely too far, too fast with it way behind the, what's it called? The EMA ribbon is going way behind. Now, unfortunately, right? I have something to say about this. Okay. Although technical analysis states that this thing has to come back down eventually, we might go a little bit higher, all the way up, right? And some sort of blow off top. We might do that if this was a regular market. The problem is there's a clear issue with the dollar. Okay, so how do we know? What are the signs that there's a clear issue with the dollar? Well, one, the U.S. national debt is 38 trillion, and the interest payments is 1 trillion. The budget deficit is 1 trillion every 100 days. Okay, these are all printed. This is all printed money, free money. The trade deficit is 1 trillion. So think about that. You can't even count to a trillion, right? Because the number is too big, right? You wouldn't want to do the billion, but anyways, trillion, it's hundreds of years, right? So this number is ridiculous. And at the same time, right, there's lots of fraud in the government. And so that's going to all these criminals that they probably haven't closed that off yet. And obviously those criminals realize, well, I'm getting this free printed money from the government. Maybe I should buy something that has value so I could save in it. I wonder what that might be. And you know what? It's most likely going to be gold. Some Bitcoin, of course, but mostly gold and silver. And so effectively, right, gold went first, silver went second. And at the tail end of all monetary collapses, we see that both gold and silver continue to pump nonstop until the currency collapses. That's just the way it is. You could look at every single chart of a currency collapse, and that's exactly how it plays out. So we're seeing the exact same game happening with silver. So although, right, there is a possibility of them turning it around because it's the United States, and most people still believe the dollar has value and can't believe that it will go to zero. And that's just the belief of most people. That's the perception of most people. Now, with that understanding, if you can convince those majority people to sell their assets to buy the dollar because they need to do so in order to survive something, that would lower the price of silver and gold very, very fast. Okay, because the dollar index would climb up. Now, I don't know what they'll pull. I don't know how big of a scam they'll pull, but that's an option. That's the final ditch option. Now, of course, that's not going to last because they're going to print like crazy, right? And, you know, if people understand that they're printing, they're going to realize, wait a second, I should get back into my assets right away. And probably Warren Buffett will be there before them. And so with a lot of people who have a lot of cash on the sidelines, they'll be dollar cost averaging into that whatever pandemic or whatever they plan to do. I don't know what they're going to do. Don't care. But that would be the best scenario, right? To wipe out the middle class and the poor for the one final time. Boom. Yeah, so I don't be surprised if that comes. Okay. All right, scroll down to, let's see here. Let's take a look at some of the news that we have here. I'm going to click on this one and bring it up. Hang on. Okay. Jefferies strategist Christopher Wood drops Bitcoin for gold on quantum computing concerns. Christopher Wood's Jefferies, global head of equity strategy, swapped 10% Bitcoin allocation with gold on concerns of quantum computing could weaken Bitcoin's security case. Okay, so once again, come here. Let me explain something to you. Christopher, let me just give you a little bit of smack, right? Because you were dumb enough to listen to the mainstream media, right? And point out that if you use Bitcoin correctly, it's quantum safe. I'm going to repeat that. If you use Bitcoin correctly, it's quantum safe. Once again, if you use Bitcoin correctly, it's quantum safe. If you use it incorrectly, it's not. How do you use it incorrectly? If you reuse the same address. How do you use it correctly? Well, most software applications now, today, even the first version of Bitcoin, they always move Bitcoin to a new address. So whenever you spent Bitcoin out of the old address that you gave to somebody to send you some Bitcoin, it spends everything out into a new address, right? So maybe it gives people a small fraction and then gives you the rest as change. And that's how it works. So why? Because no one can crack what your public key is. The public key is basically a value that can be reverse engineered by a quantum computer to get your private key. If you don't have the public key, you can't reverse engineer with a quantum computer the private key. Boom. Okay? Don't make me have to tell you guys this again. Right? But they will. The media will always do that. All right, guys, make sure you hit the like, right? Hit the subscribe. I really appreciate you guys out there. It's really simple. I just showed you how to do that. And yeah, we will go on to the next news article for today. Okay, so the next article is about, is this billionaire a financial genius or a fraudster? Okay. Which would you consider a fraud? A system that steals people's wealth without them knowing? Or a system of someone collecting Bitcoin, right? Where people actually lend him money, he's not going to a bank to do that. Somebody else is, right? And he goes and buys Bitcoin. He has a clear statement of what he's doing, and you have the choice of doing it or not. Who's the fraudster? For me, it's the central bankers, right? You could call him a fraudster. I'm going to call him an opportunist of basically Bitcoin, right? And he's using the financial system, right? Which, yes, the people who are lending him the money are probably printing it and giving it to him. So, yes. So in a roundabout way, he's contributing to the fraud of the system, stealing people's wealth for allowing him to buy Bitcoin. But that's just the system right now, isn't it? And we can't do anything about it. So the real fraudsters are the Federal Reserve. The real fraudsters are central bankers. The real fraudsters are the politicians, not this guy. You can choose if Michael Saylor is not as a fraudster or not, but I choose to say MicroStrategy or strategy is not committing any fraud. They're providing clear, concise information on what they're doing. So that's not fraud. Now, if you can see fraud there, right, when they're showing you, hey, this is what we're doing, I'm buying this, to borrow money and buying this. Whatever. Oh boy. The mainstream media, man, with silver, did you know they're telling you stay away, it's risky, don't buy. This is the norm, right? Instead, right, I remember when oil was making high after high and it was like, yeah, buy oil, yeah. There was big parties and stuff like that. And then oil dropped, right? Yeah, this is how the mainstream media work when you know that it's in a bubble. But they're not doing that. They say, well, congratulations, people, for getting it to gold and silver, but I wouldn't stay here. It's risky. Yeah, I would get out. That's the main news articles. Yeah, there might be a little bit more upside, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't buy here. All cautious. Right? This has also got me concerned. So let's see. Let's see how this plays out. Hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.